Guys, Mac here. Trying something a bit new today. It's gonna be mostly just running through my style of ZvT, where I go Infestors in the mid-game, instead of like Hydras or Mutas. It's more so a straight to Hive style, where you mass a lot of Lingbane, add in a few Infestors to complement the army, and then use that to go into either Ultralisks, or if you have the opportunity to quick Broodlords. So this is a replay from 2 days ago, I think, on stream, where I went the same style, and I actually got pretty far behind, and I was able to pull it back. So it starts off all normal. It's not actually a more so a build, it's like a style. So we go through the early game as standard, try and get a faster third base. You pull off of gas for that, whatnot. We'll see that exactly happen. Also apologize for my more disheveled appearance. I am just fresh right off of a stream where I was sweating a lot against the Protoss players. You know how it is. Anyways, just fast forwarding through this. Okay, 16 hatch into 18 gas, 17 pool. 3 on gas right away. A very, very standard opening. Okay, he scouts. Cool. Awesome. Do our little cheeky thing. I'm going to slow down the replay now. Oh, yeah, I lost my first drone. So you get your 2 lings out in order to deal with this Reaper. Ideally, you don't want to lose anything. Just want to trade out. But this isn't a guide for microing against Reapers. Hide our drone, get our third base at a decent timing. Waiting for the minerals. We have it. There we go. I'm following my camera. How it was in the game. This is, I realized afterwards, a very bad creep tumor spot, but we're fine anyways. Oh yeah, this was also the game where I ran into this double Reaper opening several times in a row, so I asked the guy about it. Turns out Maru ended up doing double Reaper against Zerg in like GSL or some shit. Okay, still looking pretty standard. Gonna fast forward through the boring stuff once again. Cut to the beef of it. Yeah, just trying to follow him. Get one of the Reapers, cool. Don't really accomplish too much. Scout, that's a more marine heavy opener instead of the usual Hellion, 6 or 8 Hellions with a Liberator, Banshee, or Battlecruiser. So we don't get the spores at 8:30 or 4:30. Go for more drones, and this is turning into a 2-on-1 response for me. So I get full saturation on my third base, Evo, start Carapace on it as soon as possible, and then I pump out Lings. I was actually very greedy. You usually want to go into Ling production earlier in the game. Ling spotters on the map in order to see if we can find the drop, where it's coming from, and I'm positioning my army on the left side, just in case he decides to creep in with the medevacs. I think he's going to be dropping at my 4th base location. I just saw on my map, my mini-map there. Yep. There it is. I'm out of position. I have to cancel a 4th. Already behind, kind of. You don't want this to happen, ideally. Is what it is, though. Floating a lot of minerals. Macro mistake. For sure. A lot of queens, because I like playing a heavy queen style against 2-on-1. Working on saturating my gases. Also open up a production tab for you guys. Realized I haven't had that open. And make some overlords. Feelings in the main base to deal with the drop that comes in. It's standard, whatever. This was just okay-ish play of a Grandmaster Zerg. Okay. So. Layer is on its way. +1 Carapace is finishing soon. We're getting a 2nd Evo so we can get melee start as soon as possible. Upgrades are pretty important, especially against Terran. So you want to make sure you get your upgrade started at a decent time. I'll actually pause and we'll take a look at what's going on. Okay! So, layer. We have a macro hatch started around the same time I restarted my 4th base. It's a pretty standard thing if you're going to be going a Ling heavy style. Starting to work on my gas saturation soon for my 3rd base. I haven't done that for some reason yet. Saturation for my 3rd base fully. 2nd Evo, as I said. Baneling Nest so we can get Bane speed as soon as the layer is finished. Because Bane speed is extremely vital, extremely important when dealing with any tank pushes from Terran. It's good in general against bio, but especially against tank pushes. This was actually a misclick. I didn't mean to make another hatchery here, so I canceled it pretty quickly. Okay, let's go through the boring stuff again. Getting +2 carapace right when the layer is finished. Ideally, at least. I'm not sure if I do that in this game. Yep, there it is. Oh, no, not yet, actually. Come on, Mac. Start your +2 carapace. It's very important, man. Come on. This is a really nice sketch. We get more creep spread pushed as a result of this. Okay, we start our +2. Infestation pit. This guy does a lot of mine drops this game. I remember now. Wow. Yes, so he was destroying me with mine drops this game. This is not an example on how to hold mine drops. This is more just to show the potential of infestors in a standard ZvT game against bio. Starting to clean these up. Oh, damn. We have our infestation pit down with our +1 finishing and our carapace starting. We have our Bane speed on the way. Cool. Nice. Clean that up. Lose our 4th. Not a great thing to have happen. So I'm pretty far behind at this point. This is very obvious, very apparent. But we'll see what we can do with Infestors. We get the Pathogen Glands upgrade, which is the upgrade that allows you to have just enough energy to cast a fungal right as the Infestor finishes. I think it adds like 25 energy or something like that. Let me go check. Yes, increase the starting energy of Infestors by 25. Getting our +1 or a +2 melee. Getting our Hive very quickly, even though our economy isn't the greatest right now. The Hive is very, I've said this a lot, but it's pretty essential if you're going for an Infestor style, because you can't stay on Lingbane Infestor forever. We'll drop going in position for this, but no Overseer, so I won't be able to deal with these mines as quickly as I'd like to. In position for that drop. He's pushing the 4th base again. I'm actually able to buy a lot of time with these queens. Actually scared off the whole thing there because he was bleeding. 4 Infestors on the way. Okay. Pausing the game again. Let's look at the state of the game. And I'll explain some stuff. 4th base, lost. Ideally, this doesn't happen. However, I took a lot of damage from the mine drop, so it was very difficult for me to defend this anyway, so I just sacrificed it. Didn't leave the game, though, because I know the potential this composition has. Hive about to finish. Pathogen Glands complete. Fun fact, if you start your Infestors when Pathogen Glands is about 50% complete, your Infestors will spawn with the extra energy. As I'm doing right now. They will have enough time. 4 Infestors finishing. Overlord speed just to get Overseer speed. Or make them faster to deal with Widow Mines. Creep spread not looking the greatest, but we got our 4th base back up. Okay. What does Mac do in this game? What do I do? +3 carapace started as soon as possible. Didn't start it for some reason. Weird. Kill the medevac with a cheeky fungal. Oh, yes. So I go for the Ultralisk route this game first. Because I know that I'm in more immediate need of some sort of thing to keep me alive. Infestors are good, but they don't win games alone. All right. And this is where it happens. This is where the strength of the Infestor shows its colors. Check this out. I'm going to slow this down a little bit. All it was 2 really good fungals. And this fight changes super in favor of me. Boom. Wow. Clean up the whole army. And now our supplies are starting to even out a bit. Let's take a look of his army size beforehand. Okay. This is very scary looking, actually. FPS is tanking a bit, but you know what? What can you do? I don't even start my 3-3 for a while. This was a pretty bad game mechanically by me. This is a very scary army for what I have. I don't have many Banelings. He has some Widow Mines. He has Marines. However, I also have Infestors. 2 Infestors, unexpected, can win the game. Just flat out win you the game if you get nice fungals off. It's kind of like the Disruptor for Zerg, except in some ways better, and some ways worse. Clean that up, cool. Now let's watch back from my perspective. We're back in the game as a result of that. We are not feeling as pressured. 4th base is up. We can actually get our economy going again, maybe. His army isn't as big as it would normally be, by the way, because he is doing a lot of mine drops, if you're wondering. Maybe his macro's bad. I don't know. Okay. So we have our +3 carapace on the way. More Zerglings, because I'm very scared right now. And then we're also droning up. Titan is plating for Ultras. 2-2 finish, finally. Both of them. And get some Ultras out. Because the Ultras are going to allow us to survive. That's the main use of the Ultralisk at this point in the game. It's just to help us live. Oh. Just to help us live against any immediate attacks. While we soon tech up. Okay, trying to let Chihi doom drop in my main base. Right now on stream, I'm complaining a lot about Widow Mines. I know it. And then this is just definitely not great. Even catching that at a decent time, they still got a lot of damage done. I was not happy about that. Okay, Ultra's out. I start adding in more Infestors because I'm a huge fan of the Infestor. And start just working on getting more bases. Kind of transitioning into a more stable economy. And getting a scary army, I guess. Okay. Now another example of why the Infestor is so good, we're going to see in a second. Now he knows I have Infestors out, so he's aware. I'm starting to start my transition into... oh, wow. Oh, wow. Pretty bad micro by me. Starting to start my transition into Broodlords by putting the Spire down in my main base there. But we see we can survive with some nice fungals. If we didn't have Infestors here and we had like Hydra or something like that, this would be much more scary. But since we landed these sick fungals on this whole army, we just run on top and we clean everything up. And then the Widow Mines. Nice. Another fungal. Hell yeah. What a nice ability that we have. Queens cleaning up. Nice. Spire is about halfway done. Well, this was a very scrappy game. It's more of an example of the style when you're coming at it from not a perfect position. I will start up a custom game afterwards and run through what ideally should happen, what I should ideally be getting out at what times. But this is just a, I guess, real example of a bad case scenario. Dealing with Liberators. This guy loves his harassment through the use of Widow Mines and Liberators. Very annoying. We have our Spire finished. Soon we start into a Greater Spire. Not getting any upgrades, going right to Greater Spire. Getting some Corruptors out. 8 Corruptors is probably the magic number. Doesn't take up too much supply. You can also kill Medivacs pretty quickly. And you would have 8 Broodlords right when the Greater Spire finishes, which is a very, very strong number 2. Sometimes you can even just run across the map if they're going a Mass Marauder Mine Medivac style. Which is what Terrans usually do when they see Ultralisks. I asked my friend Jehefe about this, who's a pretty good Terran player. 6k plus on both NA and EU. And he basically said the same thing. Composition-wise. Sacrifice the space, push back, and now we have the Infestors. He can't push into this. At least he can't push into this all willy-nilly. He has to respect the Infestors because he's seen what they're capable of. Okay, we have our Corruptors now. Corruptors are also very useful against Liberators, as we can see here. Now, stems this whole army forward. have the Infestors. If they were closer, I could have actually gotten Fungus off on this whole army, but didn't, so it's not the greatest thing. Greatest power finishes, morph our Broodlords. Very important thing about morphing Broodlords. They take a long time to build. You have to pull them back a bit. You do not want them to be like closer, like over here or over here, like you would morph some Banelings. You have to pull them back a bit more because they take 24 seconds to spawn, which is a pretty long time. They're very vulnerable during that time. 10 seconds longer than it takes to morph a Baneling. But you also want them close enough to actually be of use pretty soon after they morph. 6 Broodlords, that's all I need right now. Getting another base on the right side where the pressure isn't. And then we're gonna start attacking into this soon. Once we have our Broodlords in play. And we do. He has Ghosts now. Ghosts are pretty much the counter to Infestors. However, Infestors are also the counter to Ghosts. Funny enough. Funny how that works. Broodlords. Let's take a look at his army. He has a pretty scary army. Lots of Marauders, Marines. He doesn't have a fucking turret here. He has some Marauders, Liberators, Mines, Medevacs. All this good shit. Very scary army. But when he sees 6 Broodlords, he has to run away. For 2 reasons. First of all, Widowmine Splash. Second of all, lack of any real anti-air. He has how many Marines? He has 8 Marines total with this army. He has 7 Ghosts, yes. Which, they can be good against Broodlords, but not if there are Infestors around. The good old Broodlord Infestor late game. My favorite type of late game. The style isn't as strong as it used to be, ever since the Broodlord nerfs and the Infestor nerfs. However, there is still use for it against Bio Terran. This is just bad. I lose this pretty stupidly. Anyways, let's watch our camera. Now that we got the Broodlords out, we have stabilized. We are fine. We have a good army. Even if he has more bases, we can still make stuff happen. Definitely not the best case scenario for us. However, if I'm in this scenario right here, in this position, I am ecstatic. I am so happy to be playing in this game. Because I feel like I can win, almost no matter what. As long as my control doesn't slip. This is a position where I find myself happy in. Getting the base on the right side, also expanding on the left side as well. If he pushes either side, I have the one on the other side to go to. And we're dealing with this drop. Cool. Okay. He's wasting a lot of EMPs because this type of fight is really simple to execute as Zerg. I don't even have my main army over here. My main army is actually attacking this base. Or, well, main ground army. I've got my Ultras and my Lings over here. Lings died to the planetary already. Liberator doing this work over here. We have a decent amount of Broodlords to deal with the bio, but the real thing that deals with the bio are the Infestors. The Infestors stop the Marines from getting underneath the Broodlords, and it stops the Marauders from getting on top of the Infestors, and the Ghosts from casting their snipes on the Broodlords. Because every second for the damage over time of fungal growth, if a Ghost gets caught in that, they cannot cast Snipe the entire time. Because Snipe is cancelled by any damage taken. FPS failing me right now. I'm sorry, guys. My computer's pretty shit. Let me try something real quick to make it a little bit better. Okay. And we scare him away, and we take a good trade there. That's a really good trade for us. The Ultra's on the right side doing some damage. They have to run away soon because he is getting in position. But we didn't lose any Infestors. We didn't lose any Broodlords. We lost a few Corruptors. That was a really good fight for us. We barely lost anything there. Hopefully that fight also showed the strength of Broodlords, but I think we got one more in us. Let me see if I can get to that quickly. Because now I'm the aggressor. I'm the one who has the tempo in this game. He's running from me. How the turntables have turned. Okay, Broodlord's going in there. This is actually a 200 IQ move from me. I was already moving my army in position for this, but the 4 Ultras coming in here. Can't run away anywhere else except down this ramp. He has his whole army over here. It's stimmed to death because he's having to run away a lot. And he lost a lot of health during the fight. So, he goes in. This is a nice bait. Goes in for it. Oh no, I'm losing all 4 of those expensive Ultralisks. Oh. Oh no, the Infestors. Oh no. 1 Infestor forward to Fungals, so he doesn't get a sick EMP off. Running back, he could have gotten a nice EMP there. But now, he can't run anywhere. He cannot go anywhere. His units are trapped. Unless he gets out with Medivacs. He can't really get out with Medivacs, though. Because I have these Corruptors. Unless he gets out with him, without me knowing. I'm hesitating here for some reason. I should just be going up this ramp. This is actually really weird. I should not be doing this at all. I'm looking for the units. They're on the top side there. Broodlords should go forward. Infestors underneath them. And the Corruptors left side. I see these with my Broodlord, or my Overseers and Corruptors, and I chase them. I take these over here as well. But as soon as I catch these, he GG's. Well, he doesn't GG, but he leaves the game. Okay. Anything to note? Broodlords are pretty cracked. They're really good against ground units. However, you don't want to max out on Broodlords, because Broodlords are extremely slow. That's one of the reasons why Infestors are great with them, because they help them in their ability to run away by slowing enemy units, as well as slowing enemy units trying to get underneath them, because they cannot kite that well. Especially with the leashing nerf/fix that happened way back when. 2. You want to make sure you have some ground army in case of some sort of multitask, multi-pronged stuff going on by the Terran. You want to have some Ultras, some Banelings, some Lingbane, maybe an Infestor too with that army as well. Corruptors in higher amounts when they get more Vikings, but if they get a lot of Vikings, then they're not making Medivacs. They're not making anything else to deal with ground units. So if they overcommit to like 40 Vikings or whatever, I've seen Terrans actually go up to like 30 plus, then you can just go mass Lingbane, Ultra, Infestor, and then win from there. Because they don't have any real anti-ground. They just have a lot of Vikings. Forces out really weird responses, and plus Terran doesn't really know how to play against this composition anymore, as it has fallen out the meta. Okay. So let me do the custom game where it shows an ideal situation, and then we'll go over a few more things, and that's it. Alright, so here we are in a custom game. Just gonna run through the start of the game, and then I'll explain stuff on the way. Not playing against anybody, this is just me in the game alone, running through what a normal, optimal ZvT game would look like. FPS is failing me again, but you know what? I'll try and... Oh no, that's Spotify. Oh no! Okay, whatever. 16 hatch. Maybe you guys will listen to some nice keyboard ASMR. Okay, drone till 18, just like you would. Normal ZvT. We're not planning on doing any aggression anytime soon. Usually you'd rally the first one into minerals to make it 16, but I'm just gonna get slightly earlier gas because I like to get ling speed a little bit quicker against Terran. Just personal preference, don't gotta do that, of course. Now, if you guys want, I will provide both of these replays in my Discord server. Just open for download. Just if you'd like to take a look at anything I wasn't looking at in the replay that I was doing. Pull off of gas at 100, by the way. This way we can afford a faster third base. I like to pull one drone to hide it near the third base before the Reaper comes, because we're pretending we're actually playing against a Terran player. Reaper's here, we're microing, blah, blah, blah. Taking some damage on some of our lings. Cool. Hiding this. Taking some more damage. Oh no. Pulling this away because he's on this side. Running up a little bit more. Queen's out, so he's pushed away. Now, ideally, we get to place this down. Where our third base started. Could have started a bit sooner, but I decided not to for some reason. Another queen. Oh yeah, there's supposed to be an overlord on the other side of the map. We're gonna assume this is a 6 Hellion, 1 Liberator opener. Wow, what a big supply block. Oh no. This is not optimal at all. Oh shit. Shoot, whatever. Start rallying back into gas. As we get enough Vespine for Overlord speed started. Or in order to get Overlord speed started. Spread our creep. More Overlords. I do have this one spawning. Okay. Baneling nest started as soon as we have 50 minerals, or gas again. Drone up. Spread creep. We also need to make more lings to defend against the Hellions. Now, the amount of lings is not perfectly defined. It's not an absolute number against a certain amount of Hellions. It's mostly what you do, or how many you make, depending on how comfortable you are. Okay. So our spores, maybe you should start them like 10 seconds earlier. But that'll work in our ideal situation. And also I like to get another gas when I start my lair. Actually, I usually like to get 2 more gases. Ward off the Hellions. This is a good amount of links to deal with 6 to 8 Hellions. As long as I don't chase them off of creep. Focus on spreading creep. Double Evo. Oh wow, getting supply blocked in this example. I don't like that. Oh, I already sent some to this gas. Now we're on 3 gas. 3 gas is actually pretty okay. Probably going to go up to 4 gas. And a macro hatch, because I'm also planning on getting my 4th base. Because he's not really doing any big pressure. We haven't taken any drone damage. Let's just say we just killed all the Hellions. Again, optimal scenario. Okay. Get our 1-1 started. Since it's not a 3cc build, we're not as focused on getting our Bane speed out. But we do want to get it at a decent time. Spread our creep. Spread it to the furthest patches that you can. Start to queen the main base so we can inject the macro hatch when it's up. And again, infestation pit. Start building more army units. Like this is what I would say is a decent position for me. This is a decent setup to go into Lingbane Infestor. Now, if your macro's better than mine in this example, then you're just a better player, god gamer. Well done. Wow. Okay. Passaging glands right away as you can afford it. Sometimes you'll delay this step a bit depending on any aggression that's coming at you. Sometimes you have to make more Banes instead. It's just how it is, dude. But Hive, and then you get a Spire right as your Hive starts. That way, right when your Hive finishes, your Spire will also finish. They have the exact same build times. So you'll be able to start a Greater Spire right away. Drying up a bit. More Lings, more creep spread, whatever. I'm on the crash of caffeine, so this isn't as clean as I would have hoped. Okay, 2-2. Get a 5th base. And also, break down the rocks. Makes it easier for Zerg. Really neat thing about this build, or strategy, a lot of the times you can get a nice adrenal 2-2 timing for defense. Start to get our Infestors out. I prefer 3 to 4 with the initial round of Infestors that I make. And then I go into more later on when I start getting a lot of gas banked up. Okay. Greater Spire right away. Adrenal. More Ling Bane. Because we are heavy on the Ling Bane until we get our Broodlords out. You want to have high numbers of Ling Bane. Infestors are there simply to complement them. Make it so the enemy can't run away. Even off creep. Even off creep they can't run away. As long as you get a fungal off. Okay. Make some more Corruptors. We're going with the magic number of 8. As I said in the real game example. Get those gases as soon as possible. The 9th and 10th gases really make this type of composition shine. Because you can afford just so much more. Also, get an Ultralisk Cavern regardless. Just a little bit later. Because the main goal is Broodlords. Okay. Nice. 4 is a good amount. 4 isn't usually enough to push away any Marauder mine attacks. Even if it seems like pretty heavy pressure, the risk of dealing a ton of friendly fire through the spawning of Broodlings from the Broodlords is actually usually scary enough to push away the attack all on its own. From this point on, you have more control of the game. Start your 3-3 as soon as you can. Don't start all in one Evo. And then you just try and do something, I guess. From here on, you can go into even more Broodlord Corruptor, Infestor type stuff. Start making more Infestors now. Just kill some of these so I can make another Infestor. Oh my god. Let's kill some Queens so I can make a couple more of these. Cool. 8 Infestors is a really good number as well. 4 and 8 are pretty good amounts with these units, I think. And we're attacking him. Broodlord's out by 11 minutes is a pretty good benchmark you want to try and hit, assuming everything is going well in your game and it's not hurting you too much to go for decently timed birds. Okay. And then we're attacking the 3rd base. We have to micro. Hey, he has ghosts. He has like 2 ghosts now. Whatever. We have this. If he snims his bio forward, we just put a few of these down. Broodlords also make it really difficult for bio to keep on running at you. So the synergy between the Infestor and the Broodlords is actually quite insane against bio. Boom. And you usually have a lot of fungals. Still got some. There we go. That's it. All right. I think I covered the main idea of it, but I don't know. Maybe there's some more stuff you guys have any questions about. So if you do, make sure to drop a comment, or you can join my Discord server and ask me. Another option as well is to join in on one of my streams. I'll put the link down below for my Twitch, my live stream. All right. If you have any questions there, then you can ask me there. I'll answer as quick as possible. I usually try to. I stream every day at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or around there. But this was my first attempt at a guide. I know I did it pretty badly, and I know there are much better players than me that do guides on matchups. So the goal of this series of guides I'm going to be doing is just how I play. And if you guys like what you see on stream or in my games on my channel, the goal is to give you an idea of what I'm doing in these games and how I get there, my thought process, why I choose some units with other ones, like Infestors with Broodlords or Infestors with Ling Bane mid-game. Stuff like that. It's supposed to give you more of an idea of how to play it. But that's all I've got to say, I guess. Thanks for watching. And if you like the video, you can like the video. Again, if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, you have a way to improve this style. Don't leave the secrets to yourself. Please share them in the comments. Really appreciate that. That's it. See you guys. Thanks for watching again.